Good afternoon and welcome back, ladies, gents and Pikachu. It's been a while. Hope you've been alright. I've been keeping pretty well, actually. Getting on with music, but that's not the reason I wanted to catch your ear. So something came to my attention just now. I was I suffered a drive-by shouting. You know when someone goes past in the car and they go, "Fuck you!" They drive past at speed and say something abusive to you, but they don't stop to discuss it with you. They just go past. So that was me on the side of the curb, just walking out the door actually, wearing my Christian volunteer shirt. So it was very obvious who I was. People around here know me, and this guy knows me. And he drives past and he shouts. But there was a couple with a pram walking their kid, just completely normal couple, minding their own business, and the shout hit them as well. So they look concerned, confused, they were upset by this. It shakes you. When you're a decent person, you're with your kid, you're just getting about your business, and some little hoodlum drives past at speed shouting swear words at you. It's frightening, you know, it makes you... I always forget to put this thing on. Anyway, when that happens, when someone goes past and shouts at you and you don't know what's going on, it creates fear and doubting, and it makes you anxious. So next time you see that car or that person, or next time you're in that part of the world, that anxiousness will come back. This is a problem. That's what we're going to talk about today. So, the title of the video is Why People Are Meaner to You the Nicer You Are. Why is it that they want to put the worst possible punishment on you when you've done the nicest possible thing? It would make no sense to do that. So it is not a sensible, reasonable thing that's happening there. And that's how we know this is probably Satan influence. Now, whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. If you're not a Christian, when I say God's influence, think the universe. Think the universal spirit of love, Buddha, or whatever your manifestation is of the spirit of universal truth and love. Think that when I say God, even though I mean God. And when I say Satan, think the universal spirit of chaos and pain and death, the ultimate evil, the spirit of that. Think of that when I say Satan. Then you will know what I'm talking about. So, point one. The first reason why people are meaner to you, the nicer you are, the more good works you do, and the more you're known for these good works, the more they will target you. First of all, just because you stick out. Everyone's getting along with their life with their head down. When you get shouted at, your head goes down further. And it deters good works. That's how we know it's Satan, or the universal chaos, whatever you call it. So you're going along your business, like that man and lady with their kid on the pram, they're doing a good work there, even though it's a very passive good work. They're teaching their child. They're making sure their child grows up well. That is the second responsibility that we get given by God. The first one is tend the walled garden, make the world nice for that to happen. Second thing is get married, multiply, look after your kids. So that guy, whether he's a Christian or not, and his wife, they were out doing good works. Now it just so happened that I walk along doing my good works. I'm a neighbourhood watch agent, and I'm doing a litter pick, and I'm making sure that crime is minimal, and I'm wearing my body cam so I can see drug dealers, and I can see violent crimes, and I can give evidence. Probably why this miscreant who lives down there is shouting at me. So we're both out doing good work, and we nod and smile and say hello to each other. And Mr. drives past in his car, goes, "Yeah, I'll kill you," and doesn't stop. So he doesn't know why he's doing that. In his head, he thinks he knows why he's doing that. But the reasons that he thinks he's doing that for are clearly going to be false. So we know he is led by Satan because Satan uses lies and deceitful actions. So if he were to be reasonable and approach me and say, "Daily Corbett, I have a problem with you, let's talk about it," the probability is we would solve that issue, and it would be revealed to him that what he had heard or been told or what he was propagating not only was completely untrue of me, but was stopping me doing good works, and it was actually stopping complete strangers doing good works, looking after their kid. They're building the future of this country, looking after that kid so that they grow up to be a useful, productive member of society who cares about others. Who cares about us? I say the greatest good work you can ever do. That's what they were doing. They got shouted at, and so did I. So we know the first reason people are going to be meaner to you is because God wants you, good people doing good works, to come into contact with him, bad people doing evil work. Now I know this is hard to swallow for a lot of people. Why would God push together good and bad people knowing that's going to happen? You know, the good people are going to get sad, bad people are going to get angry, nothing's going to get solved. God has faith in you is why. You know, you might not have faith in yourself, you might not care about any of this. God has a plan for you, me, him, everyone, even the bad guys, especially the bad guys. And part of that plan is he needs leadership, counsel and guidance. He needs an example to follow, which unfortunately for him, he never had growing up as a kid. That's obvious looking at the way he behaves now. And that's the way he'll teach his kids to be. He's doing bad works all the time. And because he's teaching his kids those bad works, he's going to be condemned to hell. He's going to be condemned to hell just for doing that, without anything else that he does. Because Jesus said, if you harm a hair on the head of any of my little ones, it would have been better for you if you had never been born, and it would be better for you now if you put a heavy millstone around your neck and threw yourself in the ocean. That would be better for you than what you're doing, says Jesus to that guy and me and everyone. So he doesn't know that because he's not Christian, doesn't believe in God, doesn't read the Bible, didn't have a good example growing up, wasn't guided, counselled or taught. But I know these things now. Neither was I. I wasn't counselled or guided or taught. I was never a Christian when I was young. You know, I wasn't a little miscreant criminal shouting at randoms out the car window, but I was bad. So now I do have that guidance, and that's why God sends him to me and me to him. Because I came out my building and I had been held up. I should have gone hours ago. But I entered my, I got ready and left the building. And 2 steps outside the building, that couple with their kid, and he drives past, all at the same time. That's not a coincidence. God set that up so that he can have an interface with me, which means I'm going to see him again in future. God's going to keep throwing him at me and me at him. And the reason is because he has something to learn, which I have already learned. He needs to behave in a certain way, which I now do. So even though he doesn't like me, even though he's going to try and confront me, he's probably going to offer me violence and false accusations, all the rest of the rubbish that the rest of the guys like him have in the past who I have dealt with and seen off. God wants me to minister to him. Because I live near him, I'm his neighbour, love thy neighbour, which I do, I'm Christian. Forgive your brother 70 times 7, which is like 490, so I've forgiven him like 4 times. There's quite a few hundreds of times left. And this is you as well. This is what I mean. When you're out doing nice things and you've had a great day, you walk home and someone throws something at you or tries to run you down or shouts at you, does something horrible to you that you didn't deserve. Satan wants you to go, oh, I'm so sad, and stop doing the good work that you're doing. God wants you to refresh your energy, to make more effort. So God's elected you in that situation to be the leader for this bad guy. Even though you don't maybe feel you're up to the task. A lot of us have big doubts about ourselves. Big doubts about ourselves. And the more responsibility we take on, the bigger and more crushing those doubts are going to be. But God has faith in us. Not only does he have faith in us, he's the one that wrote the plan. He's the one that turned that guy around, sent him out the house just as I came out the house. Or sent him down the road just as I came out the house. And made sure that there was a witness there. Because the last time that happened with someone was my crazy stalker. And every time I used to get into fights with him, and I'd show him all the mercies in the world, I'd stand my ground, but I would come off worse than where, because I'm not trying to attack him, I'm just defending myself. And in court, there was not enough witnesses for him to be demonstratively doing that. There was one time when there was a witness, that was the time he got caught for. All the other times there was no witnesses. So God provided me a witness. Not only a witness, one that is definitely going to tell the truth because they're looking after their kid doing good work. So the plan is developing. Why are people meaner to me when I'm being nice? Because Satan is trying to corrupt them and me and anyone else who sees, but God is more powerful. Because God knows I am more powerful than that guy. Because I am not led by Satan, believing lies, attacking people randomly on a drive-by shout. I'm out doing a good work that I plan to do, that I wish to do, that I have intention to do, and that I did. And while I walked out there, God provided me a witness who also was doing good work. So we outnumber the bad guy. So that's reason 1. Reason 2, Satan wants to destroy that guy. And through that guy being destroyed, throw the pieces of that guy at me to destroy me. And then the poor bystander with the kid will observe this and witness evil and think the world sucks and then become despondent, depressed. That's why that happens. So, point 1. God pushes good and bad people together on purpose. There's nothing we can do about that, and it is good. Even though we don't think it is. I could have done without that guy. But I recognise somebody needs to take the lead in his life. His parents failed him. His family and friends fail him. His girlfriend fails him every single day, and he fails her. And they have children. And the children look at his behaviour. And as all children do, monkey see, monkey do. They see him shouting at randoms out the car, puffing his chest out, pretending he's some hard man gangster. He's not. He's just a little guy. They see that and they think, right, this is how to act like an adult. Pretend to be tough when you're not, by attacking randoms who are peaceful and merciful, who you know aren't going to attack you back, and then put on this angry, sweary face in front of the public so that people are afraid. That's what he's teaching his child. Now, his kid's probably terrified in his head. His kid ain't going to have confidence from seeing that, is he? Whereas if he was a good person, which I'm going to hopefully lead him to be in future through our interactions, our confrontations that God will give us, I know for a fact that will happen. Through our interactions, he will get to speak to me, and I will rebuke his evils fairly and honestly, and I will let him express his rage on me however he wants, and I will go to the Holy Bible. This is the book that tells you how to do these things. Now, if I just fly off in a rage, if I let myself be consumed by my earthly emotions, my fleshly desires, when he shouts, "Oh, you fucking prick," or whatever it was he shouted at me, I don't really hear it. When he does that, part of me wants to turn around and eyeball him. Part of me wants to take off my glasses and just eyeball him with that look that says, "I will kill you dead if you do that again." That's what I want to do. That's Satan impressing on me a desire that's not my own. Because think about it. When I left the house, what was my intention? Remember I told you it. My intention was do good works, litter pick, patrol with my body cam to make sure there's no violent crime, there's no drug deals going on, there's no thieving, there's nothing. Everything is being done per se. Good. That's my intent when I leave the house. 2 steps out my house, Satan wants me to fight this guy in front of a couple with their child. So Satan is inviting me to put aside my good work for God, who sent me out there, by the way, so that I can have a fight with this guy in front of a couple with their baby. And that is why he is meaner to me the more good I do, because Satan is puppeteering him on a string through his sins, which are, I won't reveal them on here in case you figure out what I'm talking about, but he has many. Hopefully he'll deal with those for the sake of his family, if not himself. But he knows me, and I'm wearing my, I've got a Christian cross on my lapel patch, and it says volunteer on the back, neighbourhood watch. That's what I do. I'm out litter picking, collecting evidence against violent crimes, rapists, other types of criminals. He knows me as that. And that says to me, he's up to no good. Because why would you want a guy like me, who is always polite and nice and does work for the community for free, never asks for a reward, never interrupts your day, all I do is pick up people's dog poo for them and rubbish and put it in the bin for them, and I make sure if any violent crimes, thefts, road accidents or rapes happen and I'm there to collect the evidence, I immediately make it known that I have that evidence to deter future crimes, and I offer that evidence to the police to solve current crimes. Now I know this makes me unpopular with the criminals, which are 50% of who lives here. Those guys are going to do that to me. But the reason they're doing that to me, being mean when I'm being nice, is because Satan is compelling them to shut down me when I'm working for God. And that will happen to you. When you're working for God, Satan will try and shut you down, and the more good works you do, the better good works you do, the more Satan's rage will come against you. Sometimes it will even be people family and friends. The most unlikely sources of rage will be thrown at you. And the reason is because good and bad people are being pushed together by God, by design, so that you can lead the bad person through example. Through example, you are showing them. You're not telling them how to be good when they're not doing it. You're showing them through the testimony of your own behaviour, this is good works being done. This is how it looks. Right? You're practicing what you preach then. Because remember, James 2 says, faith without works is dead. Preach without practice is dead. And what that means is there's no point telling people don't steal, don't kill, don't rape, don't murder, don't present false witness, respect thy father and mother, don't steal, blah, 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 all that. There's no point doing that unless you do it yourself and you stick up for the other people who are doing it. Then you are in God's corner and God will be in your corner. So, 15 minutes, let's get to the conclusion. Point 2. What can you do about it? When this happens to you, when Satan's minions are thrown at you and they start abusing you, being mean to you when you're doing good works, the first thing to do is never react to it. Even though it's very tempting and your heart will cry out to you, swear at him, punch him, throw something at him, grudge against him, remember his face and never forgive it. No. That is Satan putting that in your heart. Satan is behind you trying to puppeteer you. Get behind me, Satan, is what you should be thinking. That is not from you. Your intention was not that 5 minutes ago, and the only reason it is now is because of that guy, Satan puppets. So don't let them provoke you. Don't respond to it. You are the person who decides your fate, your mood, your attitude. You will do the good work, and he will follow you if you give it time. Faith, patience, courage is what you need, and God will supply you these things. So, don't give up. Don't give up because Satan will laugh, and if you give up and Satan laughs, we all lose. Even his minions, his little puppeteered guys lose. The only person that doesn't lose is Satan, and that's because his goal is to destroy everyone and everything and defeat God's love and God's grace. So never give up just because you get shouted at, just because you get offered violence, just because you get made uncomfortable or you get embarrassed in front of randoms by the minions of Satan. They don't know what they're doing. What's the Bible verse? Forgive them for they know not what they do. That's true of them. They think they know what they're doing, but they really don't. It's like if you have a mouse, right? A little pet mouse, a little cute mouse, you have one as a pet. You put the mouse inside a mouse trap or mouse run thing, not a trap, it's like a little comfortable mouse run thing, and the inside of that run looks like muddy tunnels. In the rat's head, he's in a muddy tunnel. He's running around it thinking, there's going to be food in here somewhere, it's a muddy tunnel. What he doesn't know is, the muddy tunnel is a deceit. It's a trickery, an illusion that you have set up so that you can influence his behaviour. It's not really mud. It's not really out. There's no food in there. It's just a pretend thing. That is these bad guys. They think they're inside those muddy tunnels, sniffing around trying to find food, but they're not. They are not. It's a trickery, a deceit laid by Satan to lead them out to you when you're doing good works. And obviously when you break the illusion, they are angry, but they don't believe in God or Satan or anything else. They just see you. That's why they're meaner to you the nicer you are, and why you have to be courageous, faithful, brave sometimes. But God will furnish you these things, and then you will win. Satan won't win, you will win. God will win. And point 3, how do you do that? Because the first one is, how do you deal with people when Satan is trying to deter your good works with lies and deceitful action, throwing these horrible evil people at you? The first thing to do is not give up. Not respond to it. That's the most difficult bit. Don't be provoked into reacting, don't give up. But then how do you make sure you don't respond to provocation? How do you make sure that you do not give up? Well, then you draw more courage from God in your prayers, through your study, and by giving yourself a little gap of time. So when, I'll kill you, when they're murmuring and shouting you out the window, whatever, and your immediate heartbeat is like, respond. You're in control. No, you shut that immediate down. You just shut that down straight away. Whatever, no, shut it down. Take a deep breath. Whatever you feel like doing, do not do. Because remember, it's not your intention at all. Satan. What, you're a lemming, tool of Satan? No. You're a Christian or an atheist with a good heart. You don't respond, don't give up, draw courage from God. Pray in your head. This is what I do every time. This is what I did then. I immediately did a prayer in my head. Please God, can you make sure that guy gets some kind of guidance so that the next time I have a confrontation with him or some interaction with him, he's in mind to be reasonable, to be tutored to do every kind of good work and not act like a scumbag, especially when there's other people there. And if we can do these things, eventually the meanest, horrible, most aggressive people will be brought low by God and made a footstool for our feet. How about that? A footstool for our feet. That's in the Bible too. What that means is eventually, because it takes a lot of energy, a lot of effort to shout and grudge and be angry and fearful and anxious and seething, like they are. It just takes it out of you. So they'll eventually run out of batteries doing that, right? They'll flatline energy. They'll be like, and they won't know what to do. They'll have no energy, and at that point they'll be repelled. They'll run away, like he did. Drove past. When he saw me and took my glasses off, he drove past. Didn't stop. So he immediately ran out of energy. I was energized from my prayer getting answered, and I went on to do good works. And that will be you, my dear friends, brothers, sisters in Christianity, or well-meaning atheists, whichever one you are. So the summary, the conclusion is, people are meaner to you the nicer you are because Satan is driving them to shut you down, to stop your good works coming out, because you are working directly for the Lord in heaven. God is driving you, electing you to a position of leadership, not just by talking, but by showing a good example. And the more of a good example you show, the more responsibility God will put on you, the tougher the situations you will be driven into, the worse, more angry people will be thrown at you. So that you can lead them, because they have no leaders. God knows they have no guidance. Look at the way they behave. And they have children. So you, through leading them, can lead their children without even meeting them. By improving his behaviour, you improve their behaviour. You improve her behaviour, you improve the street. That's why God has elected you. He knows you can do it. But you have to not be provoked. You have to not give up. And you have to wait patiently and pray for courage. Either to God if you're like me and you believe in God, or the universe if you do not. But you can draw on that strength within yourself. It's built into you. You can draw on that. When you do, you will defeat these minions of Satan, or the ultimate spirit of chaos, whatever you call it. And you'll stamp morality, goodness, peaceableness, kindliness, and a great atmosphere on the streets where you live. And you, my friend, brother, sister, Christian, or well-meaning atheist, you will have done good works that very day. And I hope that you do. So, that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. Please read all about this in this book here, the Holy Bible. King James Version is my preferred one, but read whatever one you can get hold of. And then this will be the one that you go to fast when you studied. When you've done that, you'll know more. And that's the end of this video. So, God bless you all. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you lovely people in the next one. Bye now.